All right, welcome everybody. Here we are on another Friday. We are halfway through the month of November, in the middle of BOGOs, right? So drop me a heart if you are having fun this week with all of our BOGOs. I see that, B. Yes. Loving today's BOGO in particular, Copaiba, Roman chamomile, and black spruce, right? Those three are needed on a daily basis for all of us. So if you have any questions about BOGOs, reach out to your upline so you can maximize them and join in on the fun. It's a great time to stock up as well as collect some gifts, right? So today we have a very special couple presenting for us, John and Bree Vargas from Texas. And so I'm going to pin them, and they're going to utilize the rest of our time to speak about obesogens. I hope I'm saying that word right, Bree. You correct me if I'm wrong, okay? Take it away.
Thanks so much, Mapu. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. So she said, I'm Bree, and
I'm still John.
you're still John.
Good to see everyone. Good to be back with the doTERRA fam.
Yeah, so you might remember us from our last presentation that we did together. We're the sugar busters, we're the anti-sugar people. And today we're gonna bring you yet another thing that we're anti, but we're gonna try to give you some good solutions along with it as well.
Yeah, I was like you, Mapu, when Bree was like, yeah, so we're gonna talk about obesogens. I'm like, Bree, stop making up words. I told you, like, don't do that anymore. It's not cool. But then she, like she does in a loving way, corrected me. She's like, you need to get your facts straight. This is a new thing that we need to be worried about. So as we did last time, right, we talked about our metabolic health. That's the most important thing that we can worry about these days, making sure that we have everything to support us to have strong metabolic health. Well, obesogens actually play right into that. And so we just want to talk about this topic so that we can all be on the same page and see how we can help each other out. So if I were to tell you that there's chemicals in our environment, even in our households, that are disrupting our metabolic health and are causing us to gain weight or even stopping us from being able to lose weight, would you believe me? It sounds funny, right? But it's actually true. That's what we're talking about. This is what an obesogen is. Let's find out a little bit more. Let me pass the mic, the figurative mic, back to my co-host there.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. So what is an obesogen? Simply put, it's a toxin, but these are chemicals that specifically disrupt our metabolism. They're chemicals that are found in our environment, again, that are directly correlated with our poor metabolic health. What they do is that they directly increase our fat mass or the storage of fat within our cells. They also may act in a way where they alter our appetite, right? And so then our metabolic rate is all out of whack, and so is our energy balance. Now, this isn't a correlation. It's actually known to be a causation. There was a really interesting article by Dr. Robert Lustig, who it was titled Obesity 2. And in this paper, it concluded that these chemicals, we now know, directly increase fat mass through dozens of different mechanisms in our body. It's actually thought that about 15% of the obesity that we see in this country is directly attributed to these chemicals.
Right. It's interesting that you say that, right? Because when we were doing the research for this, in that study, it talked about a woman who did everything that she could. She was eating right, she was supplementing, she was exercising, but she just couldn't lose weight. And so she went to her physician, her internalist, and they were able to identify that it was these obesogens. There was these chemicals that she was constantly in contact with that were having this negative effect. So after they figured out what they were and they were able to eliminate them, she lost 40 pounds like that and was able to get her metabolic health back in order, right? So you might be wondering, well, what are obesogens, right? We're talking about that, but where can they be found? How do I identify them? Is it just like if I avoid this one thing, like we were when we 10 years ago, 15 years, we're told wash your vegetables and fruits, right? Because of the agricultural pesticides. Well, sad to say, friends, it's obesogens, they're everywhere, right? There's no way of really avoiding them anymore. They're in the air that we breathe, they're in the food that we eat, they're on the food that we eat. They're in, ladies, sad to say, they're in most cosmetic lines, they're in our household cleaning products. Our actual furniture are made with these chemicals, electronics, printers, ink, cookware, everything, and if you really think about it, it all came from the industrialization, how we were able to mechanize things. So these wonderful chemists, super intelligent chemists, are able to find these properties that make things more lubricant, that they don't stick to anything, or they don't, they make life quote unquote better, but they're full of these toxins, full of these chemicals. And studies are showing that this process is increasing 4% every year, and it should double by the year 2030. So it's a serious thing. Deaths have increased by just the ambient air pollution by 70%. And then one respected doctor stated that over 90 million people die each year just from taking in all these additional toxins. So what are we talking about? We're talking about when we go buy metal cans at the store for, green beans and
Yeah.
whatever you find in a can, that can liner has those toxins, those obesogens. Printer toner, vinyl flooring. When we're driving about to go to work or out and about to go buy groceries, we're breathing in those fumes from car exhaust. Paint, flame retardants that are on kids' toys, our mattresses, our couches. Basically, here's the rule of thumb. If it came from a factory, then more than likely it has toxins that can be considered an obesogen, right?
Yeah. And here's the big one. All plastics, even if the plastic states that it's BPA free, it contains an obesogen. Personal care products like shampoo, conditioner, deodorant, sunscreen, household disinfectants, makeup, food preservatives, food colorings, and drugs like antidepressants have been known to contain obesogenic properties. So how harmful are they beyond the few things that we've talked about? The problem with these obesogens is that they work synergistically. So we can't just tell you this, it's just this one toxin. There's so many, and they work together to drastically affect our metabolic health and cause these metabolic problems. They also directly impact the diversity of our microbiome, which is crucial in order for us to be able to properly digest the foods that we eat and thus have a good metabolism. They also control our hormonal control center, particularly the one that is correlated with our eating behavior. So they basically affect the hormone that helps us to feel satiated. They affect thyroid function, which is directly linked to metabolism. They impact our genes that are crucial to our longevity. They cause inflammation. They, in regards to hormones, again, they affect these hormone receptors that either activate or block certain things. And so these hormones are so crucial to our health. And here are these chemicals that either activate them or block them when we need them to be doing the opposite thing. And then also they affect our sex cells, like our sperm and our eggs. So it's not just affecting us, but it can also potentially affect our offspring. And going back a little bit to the weight issue, which is at the base of metabolic health, our toxins are stored in our fat tissue. So when we lose weight, when we liberate this fat tissue, we're liberating more toxins. But because of these obesogens, these chemicals, as we're losing weight, that can be sometimes why we stop losing weight, because these toxins, they interfere with the very process of weight loss. So they do a lot
Oh yeah,
of harm.
right. So that leads to the question, like, so what should we do? All right, so you've talked about all these different things that basically surround us on a day-to-day basis,
This is
but
the powder.
we're
It's
talking
very
about
good for nerve pain.
knowledge is power,
Stainless
right?
steel. It's
So it's
not
important for us to know
right.
what's going on and what is around us. So the more that we make ourselves aware of these things, then we don't have to be scared. We don't have to be without hope. Really, it's better to know that this is the situation that we're dealing with than to be left in the dark. So there are things that we can do to improve our circumstances. There are ways to combat these obesogens. And again, my co-host here will elaborate on that.
Yeah, so I'm going to really quickly share my screen because as Jonathan was saying, what we want to do is just take a look at what's inside of our home. We can't necessarily control what goes on outside of our home, but we certainly can do a lot with what we have here. And we just want to make healthy swaps. So hopefully all of you are familiar with what I'm about to show you. And if not, well, hopefully you will look into it. All right, so I'm showing you here. Let me make sure I can do this properly. All right, so we're so grateful that we have doTERRA. doTERRA is a company, a health and wellness company, right? And they look at our health from a holistic standpoint. So we primarily know them for their essential oils and their supplements, but they go way beyond that. So please drop me an emoji if you are familiar with any of the personal care products that they have. I hope you are. And I put it up here just in case you are new to doTERRA. If you just log into your account and you go under shop, then in there, you'll see a personal care product page. And these are just a few of the personal products that we can swap out. What we're wanting to do is look at products that have few ingredients, clean ingredients that we can actually pronounce. And so doTERRA has everything from skincare to toothpaste to deodorant, shampoo, conditioner, all of these made from clean ingredients. They also have.
Sorry, before you transition, since you're talking about those awesome products, I have to give a shout out to doTERRA for their sunscreen line that came out this summer, because that was a game changer for me. We're learning that everything we use has some kind of toxin in it, right? But that's a necessary evil. We need to protect our skin if we're going to be in the sun. So I was like, man, please, when are we going to get some kind of skincare line from doTERRA? I had skin cancer in the past. And so that's really near and dear to my heart. Like, I want to make sure every time I go out, I look like a snowman in the middle of summer.
A little bit, yeah.
Right. And it's embarrassing to her, but I gotta do that. Well, at least now with doTERRA, I know that they're using clean products with words that I can actually pronounce. And I know that I don't have to worry about at least this product doing more damage to me and creating another obesogen I have to fight against.
Exactly. And so we talked about like those disinfectants, right? The whole household cleaners, also containing these toxic chemicals that wreak havoc on our metabolic health. But we've got cleaning now with doTERRA. So these are just a few of the products that I personally use here in our home. If you prefer the On Guard scent, there's also a cleaner concentrate that's On Guard. But these are the ones that I use. I know you're not really familiar with these so much, but just, that's what they are, just so you know.
I remember using it yesterday when I was cleaning the stove, but yeah, maybe I forgot.
All right, perhaps. So we've got cleaner concentrate, dish soap, dishwash pods. We even have laundry pods. All of these that, again, are made with minimal ingredients, the best essential oils on the planet. And what my favorite part is for those of you who are already customers of doTERRA, when you purchase these through the loyalty program, you can earn up to 30% back. And in my case, I actually redeem my points to purchase all of these things that you go through on a regular basis. I don't pay a dime for them because I just use my points.
So I have to do a shout out because it's not even a shout out. It's more like buy we don't go to Target no more. Like she used to be there every single day, and it was like, well, I gotta buy this, I have to buy that. Well, we don't have to go to Target anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, we can go chill if you want, just to go like,
Just
hang
hang out.
out because
Okay.
probably miss it,
Yeah,
but
no, let's not
we
do
don't
that.
need to do that anymore because of doTERRA.
All right, so healthy swaps, right? Take a look at what you've got in your bathroom and in your cabinets and just swap these out. The other thing that is really foundational to this is us improving our biological resilience. How can we set the proper foundation? If you guys have heard us talk about anything before, I think you know where I'm going as far as setting the proper foundation. And that's eating clean and sustainable food. There is no way around eating clean, regardless of what it is that we're trying to target. And especially when it comes to us protecting ourselves from these obesogens, we have to eat clean, sustainable foods. So whole foods that are grown in a sustainable way. This is how we get those nutrients that are going to help our body process these chemicals. And so by us getting the different plant chemicals, they're going to help upregulate our antioxidant defenses and our anti-inflammatory pathways.
All right, so what are some case in points, right? What are we talking about? Well, all of our beautiful rainbow of colors of fruits and vegetables that we have, right? We really want to focus on cruciferous vegetables such as cauliflower, kale, bok choy, cabbage, even sauerkraut. We did that the other day. We went to Whole Foods and we just bought a bunch of greens that we've never had before. We're like, I've seen this before. I can't pronounce it, but let's just try it. And loved it. It was awesome. And why? Because doing that, setting the foundation the right way, it'll directly have an effect on our gene expression and protect us from these chemicals, you know. But not only that, right? You're setting the foundation, but if you go and you're filling your fridge. Remember we said last time, 90% of your diet should be coming from the refrigerator, not the pantry, you know, not top ramen noodles, you know, or Pop-Tarts, or, you know, if it comes from a box or a package, I'm not shaming anyone, but it's funny because those same packaging have the obesogens, right? If you're eating from a can of beans versus just buying the beans and making them yourself, you're taking out all those chemicals that are being used to create that packaging, right? So that's one thing, right? We got to set the foundation right with our food, but we all know that because of the mineral depletion in our soils, even if we had all the fruits and vegetables of the world, the best ones, we're not getting enough nutrients and vitamins and minerals. So what could we do?
Oh man,
what can fix that?
If
Brie?
only there was something to fill in those gaps. All of you longtime doTERRA users, you know where I'm going with this, right? But in case you don't, let me once more share my screen. Sorry, I'm really slow when it comes to clicking back and forth. So lifelong vitality, right? Lifelong vitality is what's really going to help us to fill in those gaps that we absolutely need. And since we are speaking about cruciferous vegetables, if you notice on the back of our Microplex VMZ, it has in here a whole food blend that contains those very vegetables that we were discussing. So for example, the kale, the Brussels sprouts, the cabbage, it's all in here. We also have vitamin D, which is crucial to thyroid function. Our bodies are basically these energy factories, right? We have about 37 trillion cells in our body. And every single one has an energy factory, a mitochondria, to create the energy that we need in order to be able to function properly. And each mitochondria needs vitamins and minerals in order to allow their machinery to work the way that they're supposed to. We also have vitamin C and vitamin D and magnesium, selenium, chromium, all of this you can find in LLV. And these are crucial for us to be able to really build those defenses against these obesogens. One that I do want to kind of just highlight really quickly is selenium. So this is a micronutrient that's necessary for a specific protein to be built within our cells. And selenium is vital for immune function and antioxidant protection. So that's what we want. We need these antioxidants in order for us to be able to fight off these obesogens.
Excellent, excellent. So just a quick recap, guys. So far, what we've learned is, what an obesogen is, right? Basically, any kind of toxin that can negatively impact us to the point where we're not going to be able to lose weight, or it's causing us to gain weight. And then we've learned basically the plethora, the long list of things that surround us that can be considered obesogens. But we don't focus on the negatives, we focus on the positive. And we've learned that with proper diet and through supplementation with LLV, then we can set the right foundation. But what else in our research did you find out that can really be like the 1-2 punch for obesogens?
So our bodies have a naturally built-in detoxification process, right? But again, they take such a beating every single day. So detox is key. And we want to do everything we can to help our body with that natural function. So what simple thing that we can do is just make sure we always have some citrus oils in our water. I've got some tangerine here, or some Meta Power. This one's an excellent oil because it contains grapefruit, it's got lemon in there, all of these that help our body's natural detoxification process. So food is foundational, right? But things like vitamin C, resveratrol, vitamin E, magnesium, biotin, all of these are so crucial in us having those resilience boosting effects to be able to process these toxins.
So you say all these great things, right? Biotin, magnesium, resveratrol, I can't say it, right? The stuff that's in wine, basically.
Yes.
Is there something that we have that like has it all encapsulated, all packaged together that will make it so much easier instead of having to go everywhere?
Oh, if only. But there is. Let me see if I did this correctly. Meta Power. Are you loving Meta Power? I love Meta Power too, but in particular, I want to highlight our collagen and NMN. So our Meta Power Advantage. You all heard all those things that I just said, right? Vitamin C, resveratrol, magnesium, biotin. They are all found in our Meta Power Advantage. And so these, in particular, like magnesium and biotin, those are critical in regulating our blood sugar balance. So again, really promoting that metabolic health so that those obesogens don't have such an effect on us. So Meta Power.
Excellent. Awesome. So I don't know how you really segue from something that awesome. It's a game changer for sure, but I'll try to follow that.
Yeah.
So here's another thing. So it's a simple thing, but has a tremendous domino effect on our health. And that's, deal with me.
Are you okay?
The air that we breathe is literally life, right?
Yeah,
it's life, right? So we want to care about the type of air that we're taking in, right? And like we said earlier, we really can't control what happens outside our four walls to a certain degree, right? We all have to be around that kind of pollution, but we can try to control what happens inside our homes, inside our vehicles, right? So that's where we want to get into the habit of doing those wonderful little swaps. Let me see if I can do this. So we all grew up with those little, plugins that make your house smell so clean and nice, supposedly, or yeah. Okay. Well, let's get rid of those and replace them with our wonderful diffusers, right? But not just the looks of the diffuser are what benefit us, make us feel cool, but more important than that are these awesome oils that really cleanse the air around us. So some of our favorites are Air X. So interesting story. Air X was actually designed for areas around the world where they have tons of pollution. You know, we lived in LA, and I remember June gloom, and I remember those days where you're like, yeah,
That's the marine layers.
I know, yeah, I know. But there were other months it wasn't June, and it still looked like that, right? So Air X is a wonderful oil to be diffusing. You can even ingest this one. Then another family favorite is Purify. I don't know if I'm showing that right or not. So Purify is also what we use to clean the house, but it does what it says. It lives up to its name. It purifies the air around you. And then we can't forget the OG, Breathe, right? So who can live without Breathe, right? We've all had moments where we just can't catch our breath. We can't, doesn't seem like we can breathe the right way. So go to Breathe, right?
Yeah.
So those are just a few things. Well, if you have good air filtration systems, HEPA filters, anything that you can do to try to minimize, purify all the toxins in your area, that's a definite help for against obesogens.
And then the one last thing, so I think this time, instead of being known as the sugar busters, we'll be known as the plastic busters. This is the last tip that we'll give as far as what can help us to really protect ourselves from the obesogen is get rid of the plastic containers. Let's get glass. Can I have my prop, please, sir?
Of course.
So we want to have the glass food containers. We want to throw out those plastic ones. Let's be those weirdos that go to places with our plastic food containers and our bamboo cutlery and our stainless steel straws. It's okay, but not only are we going to cut out those obesogens, but they're also sustainable, and honestly they're much cheaper.
Because really, when you think about it, those plastics, you know, they're leaching into our bodies, right? You go for lunch during your lunch break and you put in your Tupperware and you throw it in the microwave, it's melting.
Did you just say microwave?
I know.
Oh.
But you do that and it's melting some of those particles and you ingest it, right? Each time you use it. So wonderful tips. Hopefully you guys enjoy them as much as we do. We're gonna have to get rid of our water container and switch it out for a glass one and a few little improvements here and there. But hopefully, you know, all these little changes will add up to a big definite plus. So thank you guys. That's our time. You know where to find us. Thank you guys.
Oh my goodness, that was so good. Thank you. Thank you both for your time and energy that you put into this discussion for us. We now understand obesogens better, right? And we have tips and hints on how to make changes and small swaps. And all of that is going to help. It's going to help a lot. So we're going to open it up really quick for questions. Or comments if anyone has. Okay, I'm on gallery screen so I can see everybody. I don't think there was any questions in the chat. Brandy, you're raising your hand, I see so far.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch the information on selenium. Is that also in the Meta Power as well?
Yeah, selenium you will find in our Lifelong Vitality in the Microplex BMZ.
Okay, but can you give me the description again of that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, definitely. So selenium is, let me go back to my notes to make sure. It's basically it's a micronutrient that is crucial for a specific protein that is built in our cells. And so selenium is vital for the immune function and the antioxidant protection.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Alita, you have your hand up?
One thing I appreciate about LLV is that I used to take selenium, I used to take iodine, magnesium, sodium, potassium, like all of these things, minerals, but I used to take them separately, you know, and I would take like a whole bunch of pills, but I would do it separately and from good brands too. But when I got introduced to LLV, I was like skeptical because I was like, I'm not too sure about doTERRA. And so I started like researching it myself and started looking at what I use versus what's in the LLV. And it basically had like everything that I used in these 3 little bottles. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try it and see how I feel and everything. And because of all the extra ingredients, because of all the like they have like the fruits and vegetables in like mixed with all these things that I was taking, it's crazy because me and my husband, we have like felt so much better from these 3 little bottles. And that's because we were very skeptical about it, because you know what we were taking, we thought like this is the best. And so, and then like I said, everything we were taking, I was like, I don't know if I want to replace this, because I also would take like things for my adrenals and you know just things that would target different things that I needed. But it's been very it's been a big relief, because it's just been like I can do all this and my husband can do it, and it's just easy in 3 little bottles. So I'm really loving it. And then now with the Meta Power, it's just like boosted to another level. It's crazy, especially the collagen.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Mhm.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing
Mhm.
that. Deanna, you have your hand up?
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Can y'all hear me right now? Okay. I wanted to bring out, if y'all can hear me say this, my sister's been a health freak her whole entire life. That's my little sister, Alita. And they did not hesitate on cost to buy their vitamins. They would buy vitamins that were expensive. So she said when she saw the 3 products of LLV for that price, she was like blown away with that price wise. So it's not only helping her physically and getting all the things she needs together, it's saving her money. And that is a big thing for a lot of us, because we hesitate to sometimes spend this money. But when you actually know what good vitamins cost, you know
Yeah, you actually have,
that we're saving money.
yes, you have a greater appreciation for the price that doTERRA's lifelong vitality is set at. So thank you so much for that comment. Brandy, you have your hand up?
Yeah, so I have a question about the obesogens. Can that also affect why people get high cholesterol? I don't know if that's even anything a part of the notes that you guys know about or what, but
Yeah, so because at the root of all that is our metabolic health, and because it is disrupting our metabolic health and all the different factors that go into it, cholesterol is one of them. So yes, it could be correlated to that as well.
okay. So with what is the best, would it be LLV or Meta Power that would be better suited for?
Yeah, so honestly, you need both because we're talking about macronutrients, LLV, and micronutrients. So the LLV is going to set the foundation, right? We got to make sure that we have the vitamins and the minerals. And the Meta Power, that's what's going to help with our metabolic health. Our metabolism is super complex. So I wish that I've been getting this question like all the time since Meta Power. I wish I could say, yeah, just the oil, or just, it's not, it's just so complex. And especially when you're trying to target something like cholesterol, triglycerides, blood, anything related to that, you have to do both.
Okay. Thank you. That's helpful.
Awesome. In my notes, when I disconnected from being here, being the host, some things that came up to my mind, because they are hormone disruptors, right? So they affect the receptor sites. And I was thinking about the Meta Power gum, how it helps with satiety. And there's another product line that can, create more balance in our systems. And then I also was thinking about, because I'm in the labor doula industry, and there are a high percentage of women that are having miscarriages and they can't figure it out. They don't know why. And it's probably somehow related to exposure of toxins that they're unaware of, right? There's so many coming at us constantly. And so I love how you also touched on the importance of detoxing in every area of our life. And doTERRA can help us in that way, right? So that's the exciting part, that doTERRA is a healthy lifestyle business and company. So I love that you brought that in, because Terrazyme, Zendocrine are like daily essentials to help the detox pathways stay functioning, right? And then we add in all of the nutrients and top that off with our essential oils, and we're able to thrive and not just survive. And
Yeah.
so that's why we want to be in this community with like-minded people who are on the same path. I just love it. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Oh, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, I didn't realize, how much those toxins affect you, because we all grew up, and well, I shouldn't say we all, I think Joni had like awesome upbringing and they kept her away from a lot of these things, but I thought it was normal that when you clean the oven or you clean your bathtub to use those chemicals, and you're gonna get a headache, and you might even, like, I think I even got like watery eyes and just crazy.
You mean
side
when you
effects.
walked in on me cleaning?
Anyways, so you just were trained to think, well, that's normal. You just gotta open the doors, open the windows, but it's not normal. Your body's telling you, like, this is not good, this is not right, and it's
Yeah.
having a physical reaction. Now that we don't do any of those things anymore, man, I can tell like that when I'm in someone else's home or in somewhere else where I know they're there. I can, oh wow, this is really bad.
Yeah, that's true. It's amazing. I love the fact that you also talked about Air X, because some of us aren't familiar with that oil, right? And how it was created for a different market, where the air pollution is known to be dangerous for people. So Air X is an amazing oil to be diffusing, and one simple way that we can cut down on those obesogens. All right, let's go ahead and pick our raffle winner. I'm sharing Breathe essential oil. So, I don't think you could ever have enough Breathe. You got to have one in your purse, on your bedside, in the kitchen, wherever, right? You can never have enough Breathe. This is a 15 ml to support respiratory issues. So congratulations goes out to Tony Perez. Are you still with us?
I am. Yay.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to go ahead and get your address and get this mailed out to you today, because I need to stay on top of all of my raffle winnings from the last couple of weeks. So, all right, that's our time for today. Thank you so much, everybody. Just want to make a brief announcement. We'll be here again next week, Friday, and the subject is oiling on a budget. The presenter is Brittany Miles. So meet us back here on Friday to learn even more. All right. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.